Hi, my name is Dr. Bill Vivian. Welcome to my aerospace class. I am a teacher here at Sun Valley High School and the Aviation Academy. I specifically teach aerospace and drone licensing in my classroom. So let me start off a little bit about what my class is. It's broken into 4 different classes on the aerospace side. What you're looking at in the video is we start off with making pilot seats using a CAD program. Specifically, we use Inventor Pro. We've got multiple Dremel printers here that you can see that we utilize and make our different pilot seats. Specifically, we use these laptops that you see where we have a Inventor Pro along with other National Instrument testing and calibration tools that we utilize that make it easy for the students to migrate into an engineering world. Specifically, it's state-of-the-art individual things that we get the students up to speed on, and so that helps a lot. Then the next project that we utilize is rockets. We specifically have SD's rockets where we use again, 3D CAD program, Inventor Pro, to create nose cones and design the rockets to have payload, and we launch them, and then the kids use an altimeter to determine how high the actual rocket goes based on payload and other things that we utilize. Then we move over to the wind tunnel where we utilize wind tunnel testing. Specifically, we can test a wing for lift or drag from 0 to 85 miles an hour. It's a great tool to be able to help students understand specifically what it is that a wing does when it flies. We use smoke to be able to see the lifting using Bernoulli principle, and the 2 different things that you see in here are airfoils that are surrounded by balsa wood that was cut out in Inventor Pro on a laser cutter, and that's what we utilize to test. Next piece of test equipment is a laser cutter. As I mentioned a couple of times in there, we use a laser cutter to cut out items that were created using Inventor Pro. You can see on here, these are some glider planes. It's the Project 6 in Aerospace 1, where it's the final project where they cut out and utilize the knowledge that they built all throughout Aerospace 1 to culminate and finish in this particular project where they're building glider planes and have to fly them straight around corners and other kinds of things. So that is Aerospace 1. And so those are the things that we utilize and test. Then we move over to a stress analyzer that will be used to test the durability and the strength of different products. We can make everything from, we break everything from balsa wood to iron pieces to copper. We build and manufacture materials using carbon fiber and other items to put in there for tensile strength testing, for durability and other things. Then we move over to where we have our 10 flight simulators. These flight simulators are primarily for the Aerospace 2 class and part of Aerospace 3, where we do everything from liftoff to right bank turns on the exit to landing and all of those. There's every airport in the world are on these. Practically every airplane except for the later, newer Boeing 777s, but the Boeing 700 series are on here. And the students get real-life testing on flying and understanding the basics of the 6-pack on the dashboard on like a basic Cessna 172 all the way up through what they can fly on the big Boeings. These are primarily used for students to get prepped and ready for going into real-life testing. I've had a couple of students utilizing these to go on to Embry-Riddle. I've had some that are taking private pilot's licensing out of Arrowwood at the Monroe Regional Airport. And so these are basically something that will help them get prepped for the ground school test, for the very basic testing. The next thing that you'll see on the video is a obstacle course that we utilize for flying both helicopters and drones The students actually fly helicopters in the Aerospace 3 course where they have to create and modify the blades on a helicopter. They will utilize, again, Inventor Pro and the 3D printers to create a new blade for a different degrees of pitch for a helicopter, and manage and determine whether or not the lift they created was better lift for more power or more weight carrying capabilities, something similar to what's done in the military and other installations for doing construction and other businesses. Of course, in my course, failure is always overrated. It's overrated because if you don't have failure, you don't know how to improve things. That is something that is paramount in the engineering world. We use engineering notebooks, basically a daily diary, so that they can categorize and determine what they've done on every project for every single day. And that way, I'm teaching them the true world of going into college and using an engineering notebook. I know I used them for many years when I was in engineering. I was an electrical engineer. And so that's how you start out. And so definitely failure, overrated. I am a strong proponent of that. Our drone classes I mentioned in the very beginning, we utilize these Phantom 3 drones that you see here. We have a total of 3 of them, along with some other smaller drones that we fly around in the classroom until we can get the basics down. The Drone 1 class is 100% how to get an FAA 107 drone license. That is the class. As you move into the Drone 2 class, you move into more of a specific drone licensing requirement for being used in agriculture, being used in videography, being used in the public safety sector for re-imaging what a crash site would look like. And then finally in the construction world, where you're mapping different buildings, different layouts, the roofing and thermal imaging of where there could be a potential leak. All of that is done in the Drone 2 class, and we specifically get into those kinds of things. And so what you see in the video now is the helicopter that I had mentioned earlier. That is an Aerospace 3. That's the helicopter that we utilize and manage the different types of weighting. There's a couple of other projects that we do in Aerospace 3. Specifically, we end up with making a high-speed drone. It's a racing drone that we build from scratch, carbon fiber base, and then build all of the motors and GPS and everything else on it. And then they program using a DX6 flight controller for a transmitter, and they fly those around. Of course, those are pretty dangerous. We have to fly those outside, and but that's the final project in Aerospace 3. Aerospace 4, we actually do space technology, where you would utilize how to communicate with people that live on the moon using infrared, because obviously sending signals and things take a long time if you were trying to get them to Mars, but a laser pointer kind of a philosophy does work. One of the middle projects is creating a moon base, and that's what you see in this image here. The students created a moon habitat along with solar panels to be able to live on the moon for multiple years, actually. And so that's what you see, a version of this here. And then finally, we get into the latter part of it, and that is where you actually will build a submarine, where we go to a local swimming pool. The students create those from scratch, and there's 4 motors on there to propel it forward, backward, up, and down. There's a camera on there so you can go down and pick things up off the bottom, fly through underwater loops and other things. And so that is the final project, which is basically a weightless program. So you are utilizing a weightless scenario by making a submarine and understanding how they move, very similar to being out in outer space. And so that's the 4 different aerospace classes, along with the 2 different drone classes that I teach. I've been doing this for 10 years here at Sun Valley, and been classified as a master aerospace teacher in the United States based on Southern Regional Education Board, and I'm happy to be here and helping all these students do these things. And so I look forward to having you enroll in my class. Of course, my class is a county-wide class. In order to be in my aerospace class from another school other than Sun Valley, you have to be a junior or a senior and provide your own transportation to get here. I typically block off first and second block for those students that want to do that. So I look forward to seeing you in the future, and I hope that you fly to the heights that you want to succeed in. Thank you very much.